Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, the show where we take the day's burning headlines, slap some duct tape on them, and hope to God they don't explode in our hands. It's February 4th, 2026, and America is busier than a possum stuck in a vending machine, pushing every button and hoping Mountain Dew comes out. We got global tensions, domestic chaos, AI threatening every job but mine, because no robot can recreate this level of confusion, and a government preparing for its 250th birthday like a drunk uncle buying fireworks he can't legally use. So let's get into it. Segment 1. Trump and Xi. Two guys, one phone, and a whole lot of problems. So first up, President Trump and President Xi had themselves what Trump called an excellent, long, thorough phone call, which is exactly how I describe every conversation I have with my ex. Long, thorough, and nobody hangs up happy. They talked Iran, Taiwan, Russia, trade, peace, and probably whether Xi wants a commemorative Freedom 250 racing jacket. You know Trump pitched it. But the big thing? Iran. The U.S. is trying to choke off Iran's money, and China is Iran's biggest customer. Trump basically said, "Stop buying from Iran or I'm slapping a 25% tariff on your exports." That's like telling your neighbor, "Quit buying fireworks from Jimmy or I'm taking a chainsaw to your mailbox." It's dramatic, it's threatening, and it's peak America. China, of course, hits back with metaphors. Xi calls the U.S.-China relationship a giant ship, which is funny because it really does feel like a giant ship, mostly because it's drifting, nobody knows who's steering, and half the passengers are trying to jump off. Xi also said China will never allow Taiwan to be split, which is like your friend screaming, "Don't touch my nachos," even though nobody was touching his nachos. Now Trump sees America's upcoming 250th birthday as leverage. He wants the world to behave long enough for him to throw the biggest fireworks show since Moses parted the sea. Xi's like, "We also have milestones." Yeah, man, congratulations on the 5-year plan. But we're busy deciding if IndyCars can drive by the reflecting pool without running over a goose. Point is, the world's two biggest powers are negotiating global peace like two dads yelling instructions across a Walmart parking lot. And honestly, that feels on brand. Segment 2. Ukraine's Sunday-to-Sunday truce, aka the world's worst trial subscription. Next up, Ukraine. Remember that 1-week energy truce Russia promised? Turns out when the week ended, Russia responded by firing 450 drones and 70 missiles, which is the diplomatic equivalent of finishing your free sample at Costco and then stealing the whole damn rotisserie chicken. Trump bragged he personally negotiated the pause, Sunday to Sunday, which feels like the kind of rule you make when your mom says you can only play Xbox till dinner. It worked for 7 days. And honestly, in global diplomacy, that's practically a miracle. But when the truce expired, boom. Ukraine's power grid got hammered so hard, it's filing an OSHA complaint. Zelensky says Russia doesn't take diplomacy seriously, which is the understatement of the decade. If Russia took diplomacy seriously, we'd be negotiating and matching sweaters at IKEA, not counting missile launchers like calories. And meanwhile, the New START nuclear treaty expires tomorrow. So the world's two biggest nuclear stockpiles are about to be unregulated. It's like someone lost the safety manual for the world's biggest fireworks store on the 4th of July. So peace talks continue in Abu Dhabi, which I assume now has a dedicated crying about geopolitics room. Ukraine wants land back. Russia wants land. The U.S. wants this war to stop being an election year migraine. and the world wants 5 minutes without reading the words missile barrage. We're not getting it. Segment 3. Operation Metro Surge, Minnesota, federal agents, and the world's most confused sheriffs. Now we head stateside, where Minnesota is having one heck of a time with Operation Metro Surge, which sounds like a Mountain Dew flavor, but is actually a massive immigration enforcement sweep. The feds sent nearly 2,700 agents, causing more tension than telling a Midwesterner his casserole is fine. After the tragic shooting deaths of 2 Americans, Renee Good and Alex Pretty, the feds have now withdrawn 700 agents. Not because the mission's over, but because a surprising number of sheriffs started cooperating. According to border czar Tom Homan, sheriffs are now notifying ICE when detainees are released. Let me translate that. We stopped kicking down so many doors because now sometimes people just open them. Meanwhile, the federal courts are throwing more flags than the Super Bowl. Judge Schiltz says ICE violated 96 court orders. 96. That's not a legal problem. That's a scavenger hunt. Governor Tim Walz says the whole operation is political retribution. Minneapolis says the feds are causing chaos. And the federal government says Minnesota started it. It's like watching divorced parents argue about who left their kid at the mall. And hey, DHS funding runs out next week unless Congress acts, so stay tuned, because if there's anything Congress loves more than gridlock, it's running out of money while arguing about who should have run out of money. Segment 4. AI eats Wall Street. Lawyers replaced, servers overheating, and Oracle mortgaging the planet. Oh buddy, tech had a meltdown today big enough to qualify as a natural disaster, all because Anthropic released a new legal plugin for their AI coworker software. And this plugin can do the kind of work junior lawyers do: document review, compliance checks, contract drafting. Basically everything you paid $800 an hour for because a dude named Chad passed the bar. Stocks tanked. Thomson Reuters, down 18%. LexisNexis, down 14%. LegalZoom, down 20%. Pearson, Sage, software giants, all dropping like a Jenga tower after a toddler gets curious. Investors realized that if an AI can do the job, then maybe nobody needs the software that used to do the job, or the worker, or the office, or Chad. Meanwhile, Oracle, in a moment of incredible optimism or catastrophic overconfidence, is raising $50 billion to build gigantic AI data centers. That's not a business plan. That's a real estate problem waiting to happen. They're doing this because OpenAI, NVIDIA, Meta, and xAI want massive capacity. But I gotta say, raising $50 billion for a tech wave that just caused a stock crash feels like financing a boat the same day your buddy calls to say he saw a shark. And then we got Trump's Fed nominee Kevin Warsh, who Wall Street thinks might cut rates, deregulate banks, or possibly just show up to work holding a margarita saying, "Let's get weird." Commodities tanked on the news. Bitcoin fell. NASDAQ dropped like a rock. Only industrials stayed steady, probably because you can't replace a forklift operator with a chatbot. Yet. Segment 5. Freedom 250 Grand Prix. NASCAR, IndyCars, and the National Mall walk into a bar. Now, for something completely American, President Trump has ordered an IndyCar race to take place on the streets of Washington, D.C. as part of the 250 birthday celebrations. This is through Executive Order 14,381, which basically says, "I want fast cars near the Washington Monument, and I want it now." Transportation and Interior have 14 days to design the route. 14 days. It takes me longer than that to assemble a grill, and that thing doesn't go 240 miles an hour. Critics say the race will disrupt the sanctity of the National Mall. Supporters say, but fast cars. Honestly, both arguments speak to the American soul. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser is on board, Indy legend Roger Penske is thrilled, and I'm just imagining a scenario where a driver misses a turn and ends up doing donuts in front of the Lincoln Memorial while tourists film it on TikTok. And this is just one part of the massive semi-quincentennial celebration. The government wants parades, flyovers, fireworks, concerts, and possibly an Uncle Sam hologram that can dab. They're trying to unite the country with spectacle, which honestly might be the only tool we got left, besides yelling. Segment 6. DHS Fiscal Cliff and the MAHA Paradox. Healthy America meets dirty air. Last but not least, the Department of Homeland Security is funded until February 13th. After that, who knows? DHS might have to hold bake sales. ICE might start selling branded hoodies. TSA might charge for high fives. Democrats want restrictions on federal arrests at schools and more judicial oversight. Republicans want to punish sanctuary cities. The White House wants none of these problems, but all of the authority. So naturally, we've reached the everyone is mad and nobody has a plan stage of governing. But the real paradox of the day? The MAHA agenda, Make America Healthy Again. RFK Jr. is out there promoting toxin-free living, clean food, no chemicals, healthier kids. Meanwhile, the EPA rolled back pollution standards so fast, they accidentally gave several coal plants a nosebleed. You can't run a health revolution while simultaneously giving the air the nutritional value of a vape pen. RFK Jr. wants clean food, the EPA wants fewer rules, and American lungs just want a day off. It's like the administration is fighting itself in a parking lot. On health policy, it's Mr. Rogers versus Mad Max. In conclusion, February 4th, 2026 proves once again that America is a land of contradictions, ambition, and very poorly labeled warning signs. The world's biggest powers are negotiating like dramatic gym teachers. AI is replacing jobs faster than cable TV vanished. Minnesota is a legal battlefield. DHS is a ticking money bomb, and the National Mall might turn into a racetrack. Through it all, America marches toward its 250th birthday with the determination of a bald eagle carrying a roadrunner in its talons. Confused, majestic, and probably violating several safety codes. Thanks for listening to Poorly Educated Today in the News, where we break it all down so you don't have to pretend you read the whole headline. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay poorly educated.